Alright, we're getting close. Buddy of mine said it looked like a conga line of caterpillars. I guess it does. One thing I was going to say that I noticed when I was welding, I always start, because I'm welding over here, I always start on this side, because if you start on this side, then when you lay your hand down, it burns the shit out of you, and you don't want that. So what I've done was I'd start on this side, and then I'd jump over to this side. Well, I started noticing that the heat rings were a little bit wider on this side than they are this side, all the way down, and I kept looking at it thinking, why? Well, it makes sense if you think about, you fire up on this, it's cold. You go down through here, as you're heating that, it's starting to heat the whole thing. So as you get over here, it's already heated up, so it's actually, when you fire up on it, it's getting more heat into this, which is making that ring bigger. So that's kind of my theory on why that's doing that, which I don't see that it makes any difference whatsoever, other than this is just preheated when you come to this side. But I can't see that it's got really any better penetration at all on either side. You can see there. You can see some of the little beads coming through. I talked to a buddy of mine that welded his whole life, basically, or I say his whole life. He's a professional welder. That's what he did. And he said, as long as you can see the shadows of the beads coming through, which you can on pretty much all of them, he said, you should be good to go. I don't know if that'll show that or not. But you can see each bead as that shadowed through on this side, pretty much all the way down, which I can promise you this sucker's they ain't never coming off. They're permanent. My only hope is that when I go to pull all these braces off, they don't tie themselves in a pretzel knot. I don't think they will, but you know, that would suck, because that's a lot of work to have that just get all bent up. Alright, well, and I spun this around the other way. This side's already done. You guys saw that. I went ahead and ground all this down. This is solid all the way down. But I spun it around so I could stay away from that side so the little girl couldn't see me over here, you know, get her eyes all flash burned up and everything. So, alright, well, there you go. It's not perfect, but it's going to stick together, and that's what we want. So, alright, see ya. Alright guys, they're finished. They turned out pretty consistent, pretty happy. I mean, they're not perfect, but they look pretty good. The camera will focus. Of course, I was still welding just 1.5 inches or so at a time. So yep, there they are. So yeah, all I got to do is grind down the tops of those like I did these here. Take the braces off, push it out back, sandblast the whole outsides, and epoxy. I got to epoxy the insides too, so when I pull all that apart and all these out, I'll get those rails flipped upside down and get that epoxy slashing around inside there, or sloshing around inside there, I should say. So yeah, that's it. So That was a lot of work. A lot of work, a lot of jumping around and waiting and stuff like that. I would have been better off to do both of them at the same time and had them set up and just jump back and forth. I probably would have went faster than sitting out, hanging out waiting. But it is what it is. I did what I did, and it worked out fine so far. Like I said, once we pull these braces off, I don't think they're going to move at all. I think they're locked into place. And so, yeah, that should make them a whole lot stronger. So that's what we wanted. So it's time to move on. Once I get this done, we're going to, get the trunk prepped and sandblasted underneath where whatever it is, the EDP can get up inside. I'll get all that taken care of, and we'll get that mounted back up. Get to working on that, and then get that mated back up with this. All right, see ya. All right, she's done. Braces off. If it moved, it's just barely. And probably some of the moving might have been from just the welds from the braces letting loose or whatever, because it may have pulled it in a little bit as the weld shrunk in or whatever. But if it moved, like I said, if it moved, it was just not much. So I'm gonna set this trunk back on here and see what it looks like. I'll bring you back. All right, she looks pretty good. Only issue that I'm having, and how I can tell she looks good, is because these are fitting back in the holes, and you can see the holes are pretty close to lining up. Here's what I think happened, because and most of these are going in, but they're kind of going in a little tight and so I thought, well, let me look at and see from the bottom. This one went all the way in, but when I'll go to put them in through the bottom, they won't fit. Okay, and they fit perfect before I welded. Well, here's the thing. When I welded all that, you can see the heat marks. I'm thinking either bent it down or it shrunk that metal around there, so this hole is not quite big enough like it used to be. And I don't have, let me see my glasses here. I don't think that helped at all. But anyway, yeah, it won't go up through there, so which means it won't go down through there either. So that's why I'm having issues. So I think those holes just, like I said, shrunk a little bit. Don't seem to want to go up in quite. That one won't go up in it. This one's going in, but it's real tight. These did drop in, however, they're pretty tight too. So, but like I said, you can. That's probably not going to focus, but see my hand running through there. So either that or the flange, maybe I said that, hell, I don't know what I said, but the flange may have pulled down because you've got all that heat right there, so something's going to draw, and that probably did. I may have to hammer dolly that flange back up just a little bit, but yeah, for the most part, looking real good. So can't complain about that. I think she's going to work just fine. And I'm real close. Those are just my locating pins, so I'm pretty much where I need to be outside of maybe the flanges. Like I said, I think the ears kind of just, when I heated it, they kind of tried to pull down a little bit. And they're real close to those ears. Literally, I'm under here, so it probably just tried to pull that down just a little bit. So all right, well, that's going to be it for tonight. And so, yeah, I won't be back out here until, what day? Wednesday? Wednesday. We'll be back out here till Wednesday. So Wednesday we'll grind this all down. I may blast it, go ahead and get it all epoxied up and get ready for that. Also, while I have the epoxy out, I'm going to go ahead and blast that and the other inner panel that goes underneath there that I still have out over there on the chair that's got rust on it from the factory. Get all that done and prepped up so we can get this thing back together. So, all right, see you guys.